Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Chosen ones, empaths, there's a problem you face being a victim of narcissistic abuse. There's a problem you face. And the problem you face is believing the outwardly portrayal of the narcissist. You see, the way that they handle the inevitable end, the way that you see them go on without a care in the world. If you take this to your heart and truly believe that this outwardly portrayal is authentic, that's the mistake you're making. You see, they operated with a mask for as long as they knew you. They operate with fakery, deception, lies. You see, this is the way they portray themselves. So this doesn't change when the inevitable end happens and you go east, they go west, right? This doesn't change. So what you got to realize is, in those moments when this narcissist involved in your life acts like they don't have a care in the world for you, you see, what you've got to take into account is you see the whole transformation that takes place with them. One moment you're the best thing ever, they're love bombing you, and then at the end it's the complete opposite, and they're acting like you're worthless, you're a piece of shit, that you're not worth anything, right? What's real, right? What's real? All of it is deception. All of it is lies. All of it is manipulation, right? The love bombing, if you break it down in segments, the love bombing, they did feel the magnetic draw towards you because of your personality traits being an empath. They did feel that magnetic draw towards you, which actually gave them the right tools that they needed to be able to love bomb you to the way that they did. And the same goes for the inevitable end. You being an authentic, genuine, loving soul, they knew that they could hurt you so badly, and it would leave you in the fog, and it would leave you in doubt, and it would make you self-doubt yourself, and it would put you in a position of feeling inferior, which was what their motive was all about and the agenda was all about, right? But you know firsthand how severe the rumination can be when being involved with a narcissist in your life, especially afterwards. The rumination can be so severe from your side of things. But what people don't realize is narcissists actually take rumination to another level. They suffered with rumination throughout the entirety of the relationship when you're involved with this narcissist in your life. They suffer with rumination afterwards too, you see. The reason why they suffer with rumination so bad is just a theory, is because they're not being their authentic. Not saying that this is the reason that you're suffering with rumination. I just need to clarify that, right? But the reason that they're suffering with rumination, to the extent that they suffer with rumination, is because they're not being their authentic, true, genuine selves, right? So around every action that they make, there's if, buts, and maybes, right? There's if, buts, maybes. Could have done it this way, could have done it that way. They're in self-doubt. They do self-doubt, right? So even if they totally devastated you, broke your trust, hurt you so bad during the inevitable ending, they still wanted more, say. They still felt like, so they would ruminate about their actions and their choices in the way that they handled that situation. They would ruminate about that, and they wanted more. A narcissist always wants more. The same with the love bombing. They would have ruminated about the love bombing. They would ruminate in depth about minute details, right? They do suffer with rumination a lot. It's a known fact that narcissists that are involved in your life and narcissists around the globe suffer with rumination. And I think it's a theory, but I think it's because they're so inauthentic, so not genuine, so not true to themselves, that they have their mind wanders, right? With all of the possibilities that could have occurred if something went another way, because they're acting with deception, right? When you're being authentic, true, genuine, and pure, you're in you know, the only reason why rumination has occurred in your life is because you've been hit hard with betrayal, someone breaking your trust, someone completely devastating you, someone doing a complete 180 on you, transforming into a totally different person, someone unmasking before your eyes. So that caused you to ruminate. But with them, it's down to all of the little itty bitty bits, you know, the if they done it this way, you know, that would have hurt you more. If they said this to you, they'll ruminate about all of that stuff. So you do consume the mind, heart, and soul of the narcissist even afterwards. And another part of this theory is narcissists make mistakes. They're not devoid of making mistakes. For some reason, I don't get it, right? But in the narcissistic community, it's like the narcissist is infallible. That's the way they portray the narcissist. No, narcissists make mistakes. They do. They made mistakes for you to probably call them out on their BS during the relationship, when you may have discovered that they've done something wrong to you, they lied or betrayed you or done something. They make mistakes. They can't cover their tracks, right? So that causes them to ruminate as well, because they make mistakes. Now, these mistakes that they make, they find it hard to live with. One of these mistakes, one of the biggest mistakes that they made is losing you, right? Which that completely consumes them. They completely ruminate about that. Now, when do they discover the fact that they lost someone who was so pure, innocent, authentic, genuine, kind, loving, caring? When do they realize this? They realize this when they're faced with the reality of the other people in the world. When they realize the reality of what other people are like on this grass is greener syndrome, because that's another thing they suffer with, other than rumination, is the other man's grass is always greener. They suffer with this, right? When they get over to those greener grasses, and they realize they're on AstroTurf, like that fellow commenter said, you know, they get over there, you know, they expected fresh green blades of grass, and they're standing on a inauthentic piece of AstroTurf. That's when they realize they made a real mistake, right? They realize they made this mistake. And that's when the rumination starts to occur more towards, rather than the rumination about they could have hurt you in a worse way, they could have done this in a worse way. It will be more rumination about the fact that they lost you. And then they'll ruminate about maybe they could have handled the situation different. Then they'll ruminate about the ways that they're going to hoover you, right? They suffer with intensive rumination, right? It's not just all on one side. You see, all of this rumination that you may be suffering with, it's not just on one side. Them on the other side of things is suffering with rumination, if worse. You see, your rumination is authentic, and your rumination will fade with time. As you progress through the healing journey, your rumination will get less and less. And like I always say, it will become a reflection. You'll start to reflect upon things and upon how far you've made it in your journey, and the trials that you've overcome and the hardships that you've overcome. And it will be a reflection of how far you've come. They don't reflect. They ruminate severely, right? So please don't believe this mask of deception, right? A lot of you figured them out before it even ended. A lot of you figured them out before it even ended. You figured them out. They unmasked. They couldn't control themselves. They unmasked. Or you caught them out about something, right? You figured them out. So I said they make mistakes. They're not devoid of making mistakes, right? They make these mistakes, and this becomes an obsessive rumination in their minds about mistakes they made. You know, even a genuine person can have rumination to slight degrees about the possibilities of if, but, and maybe, right? Even a genuine, just normal person can have the rumination of if, buts, and maybes, right? But when you start to understand there is no if, buts, and maybes, and the quicker that you realize that there is no if, buts, and maybes, it's God's will, the universe's will, the way things just have unfolded, the nature, the way it flows, things have gone this way for a reason. You're being shaped and crafted for a reason, you see, and you start to extract beauty out of the darkness like empaths can do. They're not able to extract no beauty out of what they've done. What beauty can they extract out of what they've done? They can't extract nothing out of it. The only beauty that they extract, and it's not even beauty, is the only thing they can extract is supply source, right? If they see you hurt, struggling, in pain, broken, then that makes them get a boost. They'll get some serotonin or some dopamine or some hits, some neurological chemicals will increase in their brain. They'll get some spikes of some neurological activity in their brains that makes them feel better about themselves momentarily, but that will quickly burn out. So there's no beauty that they can actually extract from these situations. The difference with you is, you being an authentic, genuine empath, you're able to extract some positive things from the negative experience. And that's what this whole situation's about. The whole situation, the encounter with you and the narcissist, from a higher perspective, from a bird's eye view, this is about you extracting meaning, positivity from this encounter that you experience. This is what it's about for you, right? And the quicker that you realize this, is the quicker you start to progress in the healing journey. You see, if you stay stuck with the thoughts of even though you're a victim, it doesn't define you. You see, the quicker you realize it, it doesn't define you, and you're able to extract this beauty from the situation, extract some positivity, see how it's actually crafted you, it's actually made you become stronger. And instead of staying stuck thinking, staying caught up on the betrayal. I'm not condoning, look, the fact of the matter is I'm not condoning what happened to you. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right what happened. I'm saying that these are the cards that were dealt with your walk of life. These were the cards that were dealt. And you as an empath have the gift, which they don't have, which the narcissist that was involved in your life does not have. You're able to flip this around on them, right? Now, all the while you may be there yet, you may have already progressed down this path, you may be further along in your journey, you're all heading in you're all heading in the same direction, towards eventually healing and the path of healing. And healing is constant, you're always going to remember the trauma of what you went through, but they're going to be out there ruminating about mistakes they made, ruminating about you, ruminating about possible outcomes that could have occurred. This is what consists in their mind. This is what their mind consists of, right? They do. So please don't believe the deception of the narcissist. That's what you've got to get into your head, drilled into your head, right? They're so inauthentic. They're so not genuine. The last words that were exchanged, you can't believe them. The things they said to you during the devaluation, you can't believe them. This was an agenda. This was a motive. It was trying to, as I said, they went from love bombing you like you're the best thing in the world to completely destroying you, right? And love bombing doesn't just occur in romantic relationships. It can occur in friendships, family members, colleagues, or associates, right? So this is not just about romantic relationships, but they go from the love bombing you like you're the best thing ever to completely trying to destroy you because they had an agenda during the love bomb to steal your heart, to win you over, and they had an agenda at the end which was to completely destroy you. That's what their motive is, right? So when you take that into an account, you realize that you're dealing with someone who's very inauthentic, someone who is not genuine, someone that you cannot trust their word, someone that you cannot rely on, someone that you cannot, you can't take their words seriously. You can't take them seriously. You literally can't take them seriously. So throughout, there were times, during the relationship when you're involved with this narcissist in your life and you cause them to ruminate about things, narcissistic injuries they'll ruminate about, that you've inflicted. Long after, they'll ruminate about narcissistic injuries, things of that nature. This is just the way it is. They ruminated about a lot of things. They ruminated about a lot of things throughout the whole entire course of the relationship. They always did, If this was a romantic relationship, for instance, they would have ruminated when you went out with your friends, or they would have ruminated when you went to work. They would have ruminated about you severely, They're very insecure, or if this is a friend and you went and hanged out with another friend, they would ruminate about you hanging out with that other friend, and they would feel jealous and envious, and they're very weird. They're very, very weird. You cause them to ruminate, and it's because they can't figure you out as well. That's what I should have probably said earlier on in the video. A lot of this rumination comes from the fact that they can't figure out what you're thinking. They can't. That's why you don't reveal what you're thinking to them. Don't reveal what you're thinking to the narcissist that was involved in your life, especially after. Don't go on social media and start posting upset quotes or things of that nature. Don't let them know what you're thinking. Because they even if you reveal a little bit about what they think, they'll still miss the mark. They still won't be clued up enough to know what you're actually on about. Like, even in the most calmest situations, right, where there wasn't drama and chaos, and you were both somewhat in agreement, they still ruminated. They didn't get your points that you raised. They didn't understand you. They pretended to understand you. And, like things that you would talk about, it was way beyond their comprehension. Things that you would discuss, points that you would make. They didn't get it. Right? So what you got to know is this narcissist suffers with severe rumination about you and will regret losing you forever. They will. Long into the future, you're that empath, that chosen one that was in their life for a particular period of time, and you're no longer in it. And the way they handled the situation, the way they dealt with the situation, they regret. They ruminate about mistakes they made, right? The narcissist is not devoid of regret, thinking about the mistakes they made. And ultimately, you can never let these lot back in when they're in that state neither. Because if you do let them back in, these narcissists that are involved in your life, they'll want to come back to try and finish you off. They will. If you give them another chance to come back in, they're coming back to try and finish you off. So even if you have given them another chance or you have let them back in, please draw a line in the sand and make sure from this point onwards that you don't let them back in. You know, even if you've been in a cycle, you know, you're okay with them and then you're not, and then you're okay with them and then you're not, and then you're okay with them. You need to eventually draw the line in the sand and just leave them as a thing of the past. They will ruminate about you for a long period of time. You only have to look in the comment section about hoovers that come after 20 years, 10 years. I've seen so many numbers that people have been hoovered after, crazy numbers, right? That's because the narcissist that was involved in their life ruminated about the chosen one and the empath. So if you want to know reasons why the narcissist wish they had the gifts the empath has, click this video here. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.